Welcome to this short online tutorial on editing and proofreading delivered to you by the Ask Academic Skills Service. In this tutorial we're going to try to understand the key differences between editing and proofreading. We're going to be looking at the strategies to help develop your editing skills, as well as some helpful tips to help you effectively proofread your work as well. So what is the difference between editing and proofreading? Editing is actively improving your writing in terms of both form and content, whereas proofreading you leave until the end of the writing process, and this is when you try to edit your work to catch the small errors and inconsistencies. So let's look at this table, which helps you to understand the main differences between editing and proofreading. When editing your work, on the left-hand side, you're looking for structure and flow and any amendments you might need to make according to this. You also want to pay attention to the level of focus that you've paid in terms of the relevance to the essay question. When editing, you also want to pay attention to the ideas and the argument that you have raised and whether or not these need tightening. You also look at the content and whether or not this is suitable. Have you selected the relevant sources to incorporate into your work or not? And question the suitability of your readings. In contrast, when proofreading, on the right hand side of the table, you're trying to catch any errors in spelling, grammar, punctuation. You're looking at the choice of words and the tone and whether or not this is suitable. And you also want to pay attention to correcting any mistakes in references and presentation. Here are some tips for editing your work. Try to edit your work as you write. Some students find that this is really helpful as you're polishing your work as you go, whereas other students prefer to leave the editing process towards the end when they're redrafting. Think about the following questions when you're editing. Have you answered the essay question with a clear main idea in the introduction? Have you fulfilled all of the assignment criteria? Does each paragraph have a main point? And do you make clear links and transitions between all of your paragraphs? Here are some tips for successful proofreading. Checking your spelling and grammar. Try starting with the last sentence of your essay and working backwards. This will give you a new perspective when reading and will help you to notice any of those minor mistakes that you can correct as you go, as this will force your mind to focus on language rather than content, and you'll be more likely to see the mistakes. Think of proofreading as the stage when you are polishing off your work, so proofread your work once you have written your final draft. And leave at least a day between the completion of your essay and proofreading it, so that you get to look over your assignment with fresh eyes. Here are some more tips for successful proofreading. Don't just rely on spell check. Read over your work in sections and proofread each other's work with a friend. You might also want to refer to a proofreading checklist to make sure that you've amended all of the minor corrections that you need to be looking out for. Have a go at our proofreading task and download the Ask Proofreading checklist online. In summary, editing your work as you go can help to make sure that your writing is focused and clear. You also want to make sure that you allocate enough time for proofreading. For further information, check out the Ask website and Blackboard section. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and if you're a Brunel student, you can also book an appointment with an Ask advisor.